Welcome everyone to another episode of JDM Racing on F122 My Team. This time we are in Red Bull country at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix, round 11, qualifying 1 coming up next. Mixed weather conditions in qualifying 1 then, and we've had a shakedown lap. We're currently sitting just behind our teammate Michael Schumacher. We've had to go out again on the second lap. We're fueled enough to be able to do that, and we're going to try and put in a better lap. The banker was not that great, and we're going to see if this can get us through to Q2. It is faster. So, George Russell quickest in the Mercedes. That Mercedes package looking quick this weekend. We get caught out by the wet, dry weather and start at the back.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint.
McLaren and Mercedes both looking extremely quick this weekend. It's going to be very hard for us to get through the pack, I believe. And well, maybe not the first 5 or maybe even 7 or 8 cars, but after that I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle trying to get through this traffic. If we can get anywhere near the top 10, I'll be happy with that. But really it's about getting a good starting position for tomorrow's race, not too concerned about trying to get any points in this sprint. Away we go then in the sprint, and we glance to the right to see where Tsunoda is, and just jink out to the left of the track. Have to get on the brakes a little bit. We do cross the line, but it's not an illegal overtake. We do not gain the position there. We stay in front of Ticktum, and we're going to follow Gasly in, right in between a bunch of cars here, and we just managed to get ourselves slowed down, pick our way through, and we're up to 15th. A bit further around lap 1, and we're trying to get more positions, trying to take Stroll in the Alpine. He's starting to come back down the outside of us into turn 1, and we dive bomb Magnussen as well and just squeeze him out too. End of lap 2, and we're trying to make a move on Magnussen's teammate in the Haas, Mick Schumacher, and into turn 1 again, and we get a little bit up on the curb there. Move's done though. Into lap 4, and it's our favourite overtaking spot again. Turn 1 inside Albon in the Williams. We get a little bit up on the curb, but not too much this time, and that's another position into 11th.
Pulling out a second lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
Lap 5 then, and we're trying to drag on Ocon up the hill. Switch back on the outside after feinting to the inside and get him at the top of the hill. So that's another position up into 10th. And that was it in terms of overtaking exploits. And we finish the sprint in 10th, just behind our teammate Michael Schumacher. Not a bad race considering we started from 21st. And that will be a decent place to start from. Damage limitation after Saturday's performance. So Lewis Hamilton wins the sprint and the 8 points that go with it. Mercedes a good performance overall, 1 and 3. We're 9 and 10, no points for that, but a decent starting position for Sunday.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Michael Schumacher, Gardner and Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Stroll, Vettel, Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, Valtteri Bottas and Nicholas Latifi, Gasly, Tictum, Joe and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Gardner. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. And that may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race.
Mercedes then starting from pole and third position, both looking extremely good. And Norris is, you don't want to sleep on Norris in that McLaren either. The Red Bulls have been quick, but not as quick as Mercedes and McLaren. Ferrari unusually are completely off the pace this weekend. This is the first time, first race weekend where we've really seen that. So we've got to make as much of this opportunity to get points on Leclerc while we can. So we're going to move forward quickly and early. So we get an okay start as we see our teammate move across to the middle of the track, and we got Albon in the Williams there getting in amongst it, and we do get an illegal overtake warning, so we have to give those positions back. Got too aggressive out of turn 1, and now we follow Michael in past Sainz, and there's a whole load of stuff that's gone on behind us. Replay of the start then. Hamilton in the Mercedes on your right, Lando Norris in the McLaren on your left. Looks like Hamilton got the slightly better start, but bogged down in the second phase of the start. Russell down the outside, looking to take the lead. Oh, there might be contact there. Norris has to get out the throttle a little bit, and Russell gets into the lead. So Mercedes 1 and 2, and Norris might have even dropped behind his teammate Ricciardo, but Mercedes are 1 and 2 and are controlling the front of this race. And as we come to the end of the DRS straight, we see our teammate Michael Schumacher and Max Verstappen going at it, and they actually bang wheels on the entrance to the corner, and that has put us right on the back of our teammate. We have to back out, and we're of course dealing with Albon behind as well, so it's a bit of a what will become a DRS train, and we are having to just bide our time and look for the right opening, and we found it with a good exit off the last corner. We go past our teammate and go hunting Max Verstappen now. And on the entry to turn 1, we take across the grass as we didn't want to collide with our teammate. And at the end of the DRS straight, we get a touch from Michael, almost go sideways, get out on the curb and a little bit on the grass. Michael goes through. So we have to take avoiding action there. Michael, that was pretty strong. So we're going to have to regroup and get back after him again. But that was not ideal, tripping over each other in the pursuit of Max Verstappen. good exit off the final turn means that we can attack Michael down the outside of turn 1. And oh, we just catch him on the way through. We did try to leave the room though. That felt like a quick one. Tell Michael to watch my back, I'm going off the max. So after seeing off Max Verstappen and after some extremely hard racing, we zone in on the back of Lando Norris in the McLaren, and he locks up at the top of the hill, and we are now following him down the DRS straight. And McLaren 3 and 4, we go dive bomb down the inside and up into 4th place. Lining up Ricciardo now out of the last corner. He tries to move inside to block us a little bit, but we give a good help in the VRS and the DRS. Now we're going to have to defend as we squeeze him outside in turn 1. Lewis Hamilton pitting from 2nd position, breaking off from the leading pack. He's going to try and undercut his teammate here, getting off the soft tyre, presumably onto the medium tyre, as we see one of the McLarens coming into the pit lane in the background as well. Medium tyres go on, and he was just held a little bit there, probably just to ensure that there wasn't an unsafe release into the McLaren. But Hamilton gets out, hopefully into some clear air, and it looks like he does have some.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap, box this lap.
End of lap 7, and aware of the undercut from Hamilton, we decide to pit this lap. George Russell pitting at the same time. So, 1st and 2nd positions coming into the pit. Russell in 1st. They have the pit lane advantage of championship position. We are at the end of the pit lane. No problems with the pit stop though. Medium tyres go on, no problem. That's a 2.8 second stop, so not the quickest, but it's certainly not the slowest either. And as we exit the pit lane, there's Hamilton. So Russell gets out in 1st, Hamilton 2nd, and we're 3rd.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Use the overtake button and have a go. Come on, you can do this.
Approaching the end of lap 8, and we see the Mercedes come together. So Hamilton and Russell, trying to defend against each other, end up colliding and getting a slow exit, which has allowed us to attack Hamilton. And we're going to get such a good exit off of turn 1, and Mercedes have shot themselves in the foot there. So I think Russell gets distracted trying to take the position off the Alfa Romeo. Hamilton catches him sleeping, and then we do as well. But then that puts us in a great position to try and then attack Hamilton. So Russell loses out, and we gain massively. And not to forget, of course, that this is for the net battle for the lead once all the pit stops have shaken out. And with Hamilton in hot pursuit, we need to get on with it and get past some of these cars that are on old tyres that haven't pitted yet. And we go after Zhou down the start-finish straight, outbrake him into turn 1. Lando Norris setting the fastest lap. So McLaren on the charge on those fresh tyres. we follow Nicholas Latifi in the Williams all the way down the straight to turn 4, and as we overtake him, there is a virtual safety car.
Slow down and maintain a positive delta. There's been an incident resulting in a high level of debris on the track. Be careful. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until we get the green flags. VSC ending. Wait for the greens. Green flag.
So we survive the delta and then look forward, and our teammate on the long strategy on the medium tyre is 11 seconds up the road, so it's turning into a good race for JDM.
Okay, Michael's coming in for his stop now.
And somewhere in the virtual safety car restart, Russell gets past Hamilton, so he is within DRS range, very close. Schumacher pitting. We're going to have to manage and fight the two Mercedes now on our own. That's probably the quickest I'm going to manage for the rest of the race now. I'm low on fuel, I'm going to have to manage that and try and keep George back. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to try. Trying to lift and coast into turn 4 to save that fuel. We get up on the curb and get a terrible exit, which means that we're vulnerable to the attack of George Russell with the DRS. He goes by.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
Staying within DRS range though on the following lap. We chuck the dummy down the outside. Barely get the car slowed down, but make sure that we get a better exit this time and have the DRS so we can get back in front. But at the end of the DRS straight, trying to save fuel, we leave the door open and bang wheels with George Russell. He is not giving this up. With 2 or 3 laps to go, he's round the outside. We block him off there and keep the inside line. So Russell fighting for everything he's got to try and get this win for Mercedes. That was as close as it came though. Over the last couple of laps, we've used the ERS and the battery to keep him at bay, and we're going to win the Austrian Grand Prix for JDM. So Gardner round in the last couple of corners. It's been a hell of a fight today between Russell, Hamilton and Gardner in the JDM, but he is going to come out first and take the checkered flag for JDM Racing. Boys, what an absolute monster you've built me. What a race. Man, we had to defend that hard, but good job everyone.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way onto the podium now.
That's the hat-trick then, and our 5th win of the season. and we are starting to provide that title battle that Charles Leclerc needed, really. Not from his side, but definitely from everybody else's, because he was running away with this championship. But we are starting to build a car and a title challenge that is really going to put the team from Maranello under pressure. Results time then. We take the win. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, second and third. Great weekend for Mercedes. Oh, and we also take the fastest lap. That's an extra point. That's going to be vital come the end of the season. Michael, with that longer pit strategy on the medium going onto the soft, he ends up 9th. So it's still a couple of points, but maybe felt we could have done better with that. Charles Leclerc down in 14th, doesn't even score. Bad weekend for Ferrari. At the top of the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc remains in the lead, but we have cut the gap to 23 points. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen a bit further back. As for the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari leading Mercedes, but that gap has closed down. We're 4th, chasing down Red Bull. So that wraps up Austria. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in France.